Hello, all. I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary. Now, being an indie author is tough, especially when you consider the sheer amount of volume of books that are out there. All of the work rests on the shoulders of the indie author, unless you have the bankroll to hire some professionals to help you. Today, let's take a look at the tough challenges indie authors face and ways to get over them. Now, first, let's talk about imposter syndrome. This often happens when you don't feel good enough or that you're unworthy of praise. It's a tough element to get over, but if you want to be a successful author, you got to work on it. Imposter syndrome can affect everything from motivation to ignoring opportunities when they present themselves. I tackle this demon by focusing on my successes, no matter how small. Every goal I accomplished, every person who said they loved my work, I focus on all those positive elements instead of listening to the trolls. Now, it's not easy. It'll take a lot of self reflection, but the results are very worth it. Second, let's talk about respect. In some circles, indie authors are often viewed as less than a traditional author. Some people get it into their heads that if you're not traditionally published, you're not really a writer. But I promise you, there is nothing a traditional author has over an indie author outside of simple resources. Resources that are available online if you look around a bit. Now, personally, I have a higher degree of successful indie authors over traditional published authors merely because of the amount of work that goes into writing, publishing, and marketing a good book. If you write and publish a book and put in the work to make it the best you possibly could, then yes, you are an author. Those who say otherwise are usually often naive and don't have any concept of what's involved. Now, speaking of marketing, that would be another tough challenge for indie authors. Unlike a publisher who has access to all kinds of marketing methods, you have to do it all on your own. That is, unless you have a few bucks saved up and you can throw it at professionals for assistance. If no one knows your book exists, no one will buy it. Now, there are tons of ways that you can market a book both on free and paid platforms. The hardest part is finding one that works best for you, because not everybody's going to have the same experience across the board. Pay per click campaigns, social sharing links, pop ups on your website, email marketing, distribution methods. It takes a lot of work, effort, and sometimes a monetary investment. But the fact remains that if no one sees your book, how will they know to buy it? And marketing is probably one of the biggest hurdles that most indie authors face when trying to be successful. Another challenge for indie authors is proper editing. Of course, I also seen poor editing in traditionally published and vanity published books. Some editors out there will charge anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 to give your book a thorough treatment. The downside is that all of this editing doesn't guarantee that your book is going to sell or perform very well. Sure, it might read better overall, but it still doesn't guarantee that a book will perform any better than if you edit it yourself. No one can promise that you're going to become a best selling author, and those who try to make that claim just want your money. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a good idea to have a professional read over the manuscript. But if you don't have the thousands of dollars available, you gotta make do with what you got. Tools like AutoCrit, Grammarly, Pro Writing Aid can be quite helpful in this regard. Now let's talk about finding your audience. You wouldn't write a graphic horror novel and then release it to a bunch of 10-year-olds. In fact, I should never see any of my books in a middle school. Now, sure, you can probably generate a few sales from your audience on social platforms, but the idea is to get your book in front of as many people as possible. Plus, I found that not a lot of sales actually come from Facebook, Twitter, or Threads. Now, some people have had luck with TikTok, but I'm not one of them. You'll need to hang out where your audience is. Well, you also want to be careful about that because if you write kids lit, then people might think you're a little bit creepy. Now, a lot of finding out where your audience is will unfold when you dive into marketing your book, but places like Facebook groups, genre based communities, various websites, and more can help you find your target reader. Next up is the challenge of getting time to write. Now, most indie authors I've spoken with have a full time job, so trying to squirrel away some time to write their book is often difficult. Even while working from home, I don't get nearly as much time into writing my books as I would like. However, the writing sprints I've been trying to maintain throughout the week on the YouTube channel have helped out tremendously. In any case, time is often the hardest of the challenges to overcome, mostly because it relies on lifestyle factors. Not everybody has a lot of time on their hands to write a book.
They say time is the fire in which we burn.
But if you want to turn writing into a career, you have to find ways to make it work in your daily routine. For me, I usually schedule a 2-hour block of time throughout the day, which is why I've been using the writing sprints. That way, I'm guaranteed 2 hours of my day to work on my book, and right now I'm editing my next one. And lastly, it's a lot of hard work to become successful. Of course, that really depends on your view of what successful is in the first place. Some authors are happy publishing books as a hobby without worrying about making enough money to live on. For others like myself, it's a dream to bring in enough to replace a full time income from the books we publish. In any case, it's a lot of hard work, frustration, and having to deal with some of the most goofy people in the world. Now, if making tons of money is your end game, just know that it's not going to happen overnight. Being a good indie author means playing the long game, and our determination and motivation will play the biggest role in that journey. Now, I didn't mean to make being an indie author sound like a horrible existence. In reality, indie authors usually make more royalties per copy sold than most traditional published authors. That's where the marketing comes into play, though. It's also an incredibly fun and fulfilling journey, at least it is for me. I'm not writing for an audience of one, and I get to see my work in print. I will write the stories I want to write, not for what some agent thinks that they can sell. Now, as long as you're willing to put in the legwork and learn, you can make a decent go out of being an indie author. It's just going to take a lot of work and effort, depending on what you want to accomplish. Personally, I look forward to the day when all I do all day long is write books, blogs, and make YouTube videos. But until then, I have bills to pay. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about self-publishing, blogging, freelance writing, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Well, that's going to do it for me today. I got to get back to working before I head out to Colorado Springs. I'll see you next time.